Hi everyone, so yeah, I just wanted to do another video talking about veganism and yeah, it's sort of how it sort of changed my view on things, because I think the problem with society is disconnection. We seem to be very disconnected from a lot of things, and I think obviously where our food comes from is a big one. It's a big one, and I think it's not it's not intentional on our part. I've only been vegan since the turn of the year, since January. So what, 8 months is it? It's about 7-8 months, and yeah. So for me, I've only been vegan that much, but last year I was vegan a little bit throughout as well. So like I said, it's no one's, I'm not saying anyone is a bad person. I'm just saying, there is a I suppose a hypocrisy in society, because we don't realise, we don't really think twice about going into a supermarket and buying some meat or whatever, or I never even crossed my mind. Like I said, I was the same as everyone else. I've been eating meat, fish, milk, eggs. I've been eating all of that for the whole of my life, really. So no one ever told me otherwise, and I thought that was healthy. I thought it was the way to go about it. But like I said before in the previous video, I stood sort of sitting down here when I had longer hair, not even longer. I had an epiphany when I was in lockdown. I was walking past fields of sheep. I said this before, and I realised that, wait a minute, there's some sort of double standard going on, and it made me realise. I thought, wait a minute, this is a big sort of double standard. This is almost like, it's essentially discrimination, really, isn't it? I think speciesism is the word. I think one definition of is that human beings think we're special than all the other animals, and we can pick and choose which animals we sort of torment, and we get which is true. We can pick and choose when animals procreate. When animals are born and everything, when they're artificially inseminated, we can modify when they're able to see sunlight and everything. When they're able to go on grass, free range organic. We can control the animals so much, to the extent that we basically play God with their lives. Really, we genetically modify all the females. That's why all the males are expendable, and it's quite astounding how distant we are from it. These are innocent animals, sort of living the whole lives in a warehouse, and that's it. And the chickens, they don't get any life, really. But yeah, it's just an epiphany that I think most people don't really understand it or know it. Perhaps they do, but I think most people generally don't, because if you saw what was happening, like I said, inside of an abattoir, no logical person could continue to eat the stuff that comes out of animals or animals themselves. How can you? Because that's not in our nature. It's not in our nature. You can see, it's crazy. And like I said, that was the epiphany I had during lockdown, and I realised the cold hard truth is that animals were being, basically animals were being killed, basically, so I could have a sandwich, so I could have a 5-minute meal that I forget about as soon as I've eaten it. And I realised the epiphany. I realised it. I thought, wait a minute, John, I don't think I'm that important in the wider scheme of things, that another innocent animal, another living creature who values their life just as much as I value mine, should have to suffer and die, basically, so I can have a sandwich or a 5-minute meal that I forget about as soon as I've eaten it. I don't think I'm that important in the wider scheme of things. I really don't. I think it's absolutely obscene. I think it's almost blasphemous. I think it's ridiculous how human beings have got this dominion sort of over the animal kingdom. We get to sort of pick and choose who lives and dies, and we get to pick and choose when they're going to have sunlight, when they're not, when they're going to procreate, when and where, when they're going to do so much, spend their whole lives in a warehouse before they're killed or whatever. I think we've sort of deified ourselves to think that we're so special, that we've got the right, just because we've got the ability doesn't make it moral. And I think, like I said, no injustice lasts forever. It took slavery 400 years in America for that to be abolished. 19th Amendment in America for women to obtain the vote. And segregation, was only the last, 30, 40, 50 years, and during the 60s and 70s or whatever it was in America, 60s, I think. I think around the Martin Luther King speech, just after that, they got a rule out saying, black people, had their equal say in society. So all this is recent, and like I said, it's all some sort of justification, ridiculous justification or excuse to do something to someone else in impunity. Like I said, it doesn't matter who the victim is, whether it's, it doesn't matter who the victim is, whether it's animals, whether it's human beings, certain human beings, it doesn't matter who the victim is. It's always the same justification or excuse to do something to them, and which is obviously not it's obviously immoral. So I think we've just got to realise that we have to change our ways in a society. We claim we're intelligent, we claim we're no right from wrong, but you see the tune of 150 billion a year. Where does that fit into the equation then? I mean, what is that then? What is 150 billion a year? Is it a pie? Is it, well, what is it if it's not, some sort of massive injustice? So yeah, I think we just got to look at ourselves and realise where we're going wrong along the way. And I'm glad I've had that realisation. I've had it a while ago, but like I said, perhaps you don't know this, but like I said, it's only this year I became vegan. Because even though I was vegan part of the way last year when I went to vegan camp out, I started eating more stuff again in that September and stuff. So yeah. But I think we just got to change our ways, because like I said, I don't think I don't see animals as food anymore. I'm trying to the idea of eating an animal that was once living, that once breathed, that once moved around, that once went to the bathroom, for Christ's sake. If you're eating an animal that once lived lived in all that biological sense, and you'll be putting that in your stomach. I mean, that's quite, like I said. Once again, it's never been easier. Like just then, I had a vegan corn pasty. I absolutely love them. It tastes really. I don't feel the difference at all. It tastes the same. I have vegan McDonald's, McPlant. I had vegan burger KFC. I have plant-based one from Burger King. I have Plant Kitchen from Tesco. I have Plant Chef from Tesco, Plant Kitchen, Marks and Spencer. I have Linda McCartney. I have so much alternatives now. I got vegan chocolate bars from a shop. It wasn't even like a co-op, and they do vegan stuff. So I think times are changing and it's become easier than ever. You don't have to give up chocolate. You can have vegan Ben and Joe's, vegan Galaxy, whatever. You can have a lot. Like I said, you don't have to give anything up to become vegan. It's not like, I suppose I would be a bit guilty if I was saying all this and I still ate fish. At some point I was doing that. And if there wasn't the option of all these vegan alternatives, I'm not sure what I would do. I'd probably still have to eat fish. But once again, I've said in previous videos, my asthma's gone, and that's probably because of I gave up fish last year. So I just think people need to realise and understand that human beings, just because we've got the ability to put all these animals in a warehouse, on a factory farm, we've got the ability to subjugate them because how innocent they are, because they're the most innocent beings on the planet. When's a chicken ever hurt anyone? It's absurd. These are innocent beings, and what we're doing to them. People could talk about they're doing it in the eyes of God, but when did God become this devil? And if you call God a devil, that's blasphemous, I feel. So if God gave us the animals to eat, but how come He gave them the ability to suffer? How come, surely if God was doing all this to the animals, at the tune of God knows how many billions every year, 150 billion every year, surely that's not God's work, it's the devil's work. So it's kind of you've got to realise this. And like I said, I'm saying this as a half Indian, so I've got a heritage of my family, or one of my side of my family, they're actually Sikh. So I understand the religion side of why people do this. So me saying this, I understand the background in terms of the religion side, but it's obscene, because God would never do this. He would never treat His babies like this. He would never treat his innocent babies like the way we're treating them in farms across UK, across the world, just for our gluttony, our greed for a 5-minute meal. God would never do that, and I know for a fact He would never do that. And I'm saying this as someone who has heritage of being half Indian and having a Sikh heritage. I'm saying this, that He wouldn't do that. So I hope people, doesn't matter what your religion is, doesn't matter left or right on politics, pro-choice, pro-life, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't have to change who you are. You just have to change what you eat, because these everyday choices affects. They're affecting innocent animals who just want to live their one life they're granted. So, and then said we brought them into this world. We brought all these billions of animals into the world, genetically modifying them. As like I said, that's why all the females are artificially impregnated, all the males are expendable, because we've deified ourselves. We're playing God with these animals' lives, and it's so obscene. It's so obscene. It's ridiculous, and I'm surprised people aren't mentioning this more. We've got, we do care a lot about discrimination in society. Like I said, it's 50 years of pride. Fair enough. I just think, I wish I could have gone to vegan camp out recently. I'm definitely going to go next year though. There's no way I'm missing that. I'm really passionate about veganism, but I just think people need to wake up really and understand that we need to change our caveman Neanderthal habits, because we're not cavemen anymore. We're living in, this is 2022. This is 2022, and we're living like cavemen. Like I said, we've got all the fake meat, we've got all the fake ice cream, we've got all the fake, McDonald's, whatever. So we've got the alternatives now. So now is the time for change. Good old Linda McCartney doing good as well. We've got the alternatives. We're not living. It's not like we have to eat meat. We've got the alternatives. We've got the alternatives. I hope people change their ways, and I hope people you realise that we're not more important than animals. I mean, we're animals, for Christ's sake. I said this in a few videos I was doing when I had really long hair and kind of a beard when I was in my hotel room about a year and a half ago. I did quite a few videos. And, I said, human beings are primates. We're all animals. So how can we do this to sentient mammals, sentient birds, sentient fish? When, I use the example as we're mammals, because we are mammals, just like all the cows, pigs, sheep, that we farm, and obviously all the birds and everything, all the same really, all the same organs, hearts, brains, eyes, lungs. So yeah, we've just got to realise that we're not more important than animals, and we don't have the rights, just because of how intelligent we are, how amazing technologically we are, that doesn't for 1 second give us the right to subjugate the most innocent beings on the planet. And it breaks my heart, honestly breaks my heart. I was almost in tears last night watching something from a guy I really like called Gary Yourofsky. He does a lot of really good speeches. And he's oh my god, wow, he's probably the best one out there. I think he's retired now from public speaking, but oh my god, we've just got to realise that we're not more important than animals, and it's a level playing field. I'm not saying I think animals and humans are level, but I'm saying in the sense that we have to subjugate them and wipe them out on the tune of 150 billion a year. I don't think there's any moral justification for that, because no matter because that's the thing, people, it seems to matter who the victim is. If they were cats or dogs or whatever, or if they were human beings, people would be absolutely outraged. But because there's certain species of animals, it seems okay. And I think this is the root of all that's wrong with the world. Money's the root of all that's wrong with the world. It's discrimination, and it seems to be the okay discrimination, and this needs to change. Because guess what? No injustice lasts forever. One day this will change, and it's already happened. It's already happened, thanks to Burger King vegan burgers, from KFC, McDonald's McPlant, Linda McCartney's, Plant Chef Tesco, Plant Kitchen, Marks and Spencer. All these places give us the ability, and even places like Ginster's doing vegan corn pasties, vegan ice cream, vegan Galaxy. We've got the ability not to eat animal products now. So it's not the hardest thing in the world. It's actually almost too easy. So we've got to change, because guess what? No injustice lasts forever, and it's already happened. The change has already happened, and one day in the near future, it will hopefully, eating meat and animal flesh and just subjugating the most innocent beings on the planet will be abolished, because guess what? I'm an animal. They're animals. We're all the same in the sense that we want to live, and there's no difference in that way.